Just like Steve Jobs said, people don't know what they want until you show them it. You certainly did that right here with us. I want to let you know. Big pop from the entire room as soon as your face popped on the screen right there. This is it. This is it.
We're good. You got me?
Yeah. Yeah, we got you. Just please, what's the
logo?
That's John Mateer, fellas. Heisman frontrunner. I don't know if you saw it last week.
It.
We love him.
Moxie Mateer?
You want to talk about putting your body on the line, watch some 10 from Oklahoma.
And also, hey, Tone was talking about it. Somebody announced that Wisconsin maybe has a hard schedule that's left. Then we talked about Florida's schedule, impossible. Oklahoma's schedule is hilarious. It is. Yeah. It is they got a gauntlet coming up, and they end with LSU last, I believe. So they got every single team that's ranked currently in the SEC left on their schedule, and they look like a team that's built for it. So the way this show is going to work, we just kind of dove right in because of how cool Stanford Steve looked right there. Yeah. The boys are all here. The Talks and Tables here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. 9-year NFL vet, UConn Husky legend. That team sucks now, but they're going to get better. They're going to get better. The other team beats them only by 7, runs his team publicly, embarrasses them.
That was stupid.
Because he only beat UConn by 7. That is what Fran Brown said, not me.
Facts.
Okay, that's not what Darius J. Butler is here.
He got lucky.
And a published author on college ball every single year now, 2 years in a row. Ladies and gentlemen, an AP voter in the NFL, but not in college. Those votes are hard to get for college ball.
Yes, they are.
Those AP votes in college?
I would take that vote.
Those things are tough to get. He has a vote in the NFL's AP. Ladies and gentlemen, one half of the hammer, Dahn. Cowboys AP Tone.
Hey.
And obviously the legend, Stanford Steve. This is going to be kind of your show, Steve, that we're certainly lucky to be a part of. What you're going to do, we hope, every single week is give us the big 5. That's Stanford Steve. We'll say, what will it be? What will it be? Stanford Steve, what will it be? You'll give us our big 5 things that we need to look at going into this upcoming college football weekend. The reason why I'm excited about this is because I've had the chance to listen to you speak off air about things that maybe don't come up in the show or maybe should be chatted about and end up on the show. I feel like middle of the week, you have your brain wrapped around what college ball is going to look like for the weekend, and we're lucky to be a part of it. We just need to let you know that we are very appreciative you're doing this, big fella.
Well, it's hard, guys. You guys do the same thing. It's like a Monday, after NFL Sunday. You got to narrow everything down. You only have a certain amount of time, and we got to prioritize. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we got storylines on the other 5.
Okay, so let's do. This is either not another college ball convo with Stanford Steve or another college ball convo with Stanford Steve. I think it's another. Okay, that's the one. The Pat McAfee Show presents another college ball convo with Stanford Steve. Big 5. Let's get into it, Steve. We appreciate you. Let's go. Here we go.
Yeah, let's go. Knoxville, 6 versus 15. Georgia visits Tennessee. Georgia, 8 in a row, all by 14 or more points. Tennessee comes in. Aguilar, new quarterback. Obviously, plenty of people want to talk about the old quarterback at Tennessee, the new quarterback. Tennessee's second in the NCAA at 605 yards a game of offense. Ooh. Is this time different for the Vols?
Okay, so that's a fascinating question, especially with quarterback Aguilar, Joey Aguilar, who might be the right fit for this entire. There was Diablo College or something like that, I believe, in California. Then App State, I think. And then,
I didn't know before App State. I knew App State than UCLA.
I was looking it up last night. I think it's like Diablo Community College, maybe, or something.
You got me on that one.
Should have ran sprints after this game.
And then he went to App State, okay? And then now he becomes the guy. What did you say?
I'm just seeing these Syracuse highlights. Should have ran the sprints after this game.
Well, that's what he thought to himself. Whenever we meet a team that's a bigger of a juggernaut as the Tennessee team, like UConn, and we lose or only win by a little bit, we're going to run. But on that note, this kid has all the qualities that have made like past college quarterbacks very successful. Kind of grind his way through, a lot of playing time, has been there and done that. Nico Iamaleava leaves, and they almost get a better quarterback for their system, is what a lot of people are saying, and it looked like that early, Tone.
Yeah, because Aguilar was very, very good at App State, and then he obviously was good enough to go to UCLA, get paid for NIL for UCLA. Then the whole Nico thing happens. And let's not forget, yes, Nico was 5-star, top of the class coming out. But, that was a running offense last year with Tennessee and Dylan Sampson. And Nico, we watched him at Ohio State. He was incredible. He looked like he was the only one trying against Ohio State. But, like, this Heupel offense, there's a lot of quarterbacks that could play in this Heupel offense. And to Stanford Steve's point about this Heupel offense and facing Kirby, since Heupel has been at Tennessee, Kirby has given up 17, 10, 13, and 17 to this Heupel offense. So Kirby might have Tennessee's number as far as just over the last 8 in general and versus Heupel.
Joey Aguilar, fun facts here. Career history for college. City College of San Francisco.
There you go.
Wow.
2019 to 2020.
The Diablos?
Diablo Valley,
Okay.
2021 to 2022.
Wow.
Appalachian State, 2023, 2024. Then he goes to UCLA. The Nico, or commits to going to UCLA. Nico ends up going to UCLA. He then goes to Tennessee, so he never really enrolls at UCLA, never is a part of their team. So now he's part of Tennessee. It's like, this is some real shit here. This guy's a player.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And with Heupel's offense, and last year, D-Butt, Tennessee's defense was thumping.
That was going to be my question for the other guy. How about that defense? A lot of talk about the offense. How about that defense against this Georgia offense?
That's the question, because I'm with you, D, but what a travesty at the Dome last week. Huskies were the better team. We all know that.
Okay.
And I was a fan. I was a fan back in the day when D-Butt and the Huskies used to sell out the rent.
Hell yeah.
So I'm long.
Wait, which games sold out there?
All of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought there was maybe one team came through. And
No, this wasn't the Caitlin Clark situation. All right, we sold out.
You sure it wasn't Pat White, Steve Slayton?
Who showed up?
Okay, all right. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's get back to the Tennessee defense there. No, UConn.
Yeah,
Can't wait to see you
ball
back.
team.
Good
Up
ball
from
team.
here, UConn.
Okay, go ahead. But Tennessee's defense, they were thumpers last year.
Yeah, it's hard to read because I don't think anything is Syracuse. And then last week, East Tennessee State, it's really hard. Watching Georgia, it seems like they're another team or another one that we go through.
Thank you.
And we look at offensive line. They haven't started their best offensive line yet. Plenty of people are going at Gunnar Stockton because he's not throwing open receivers. I look at it as a case of Georgia and then another team with Texas A&M that we'll talk about in a little bit. They haven't shown anything. They've been as vanilla as possible playing inferior competition. So that's the biggest question. Tennessee brings that defense. I just think they haven't matched the physicality of Georgia in these 8 games that we talk about, with Georgia winning all those by 14 or more.
Steve, what about Georgia's offense? I mean, you're mentioning Tennessee, but Georgia just played Austin Peay. I don't know if we can really say, they've proven anything yet. Carson Beck's balling for Miami. It feels like Gunnar Stockton isn't really being talked about at all. How are they looking offensively, and should we be looking at an over perhaps?
I would look at the under. The under is what I would look at. Georgia, is going to have some serious talent on defense. The issue with Georgia's offense is the consistency up front, and that goes back to what I was talking about with the different lineups they've gone with the offensive line. They got a crazy good freshman in Gaston that didn't play against Austin Peay. Ernest, the right tackle, didn't play against Austin Peay, and they got in trouble with their protections when they're trying to run, a bunch of different stuff to get Stockton loose. Again, I think they're going to throw the ball. Colby Young has looked fantastic at receiver. He was suspended for the last 9 games last year. So to me, it does feel like Georgia's holding something back, but it's nothing over the top crazy. Georgia's in these games has limited that Heupel offense and all the deep plays. Pat pointed out they haven't scored 20 points since Heupel's been there against Georgia. So to me, it's an under game.
Yeah, it was an under game to me as well. The only worry is, Jermon McCoy, who was all SEC corner for Tennessee, he got hurt late last year towards ACL. He's not back yet, and then I believe their other starting corner is out as well. So if Georgia and Gunnar Stockton can take advantage of that, maybe an over, but it would be, I think both defenses have the advantage.
Going to be stocked down there in Knoxville. Can't wait to get there for college game day. I think they gave us a couple good crowds a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Game
They
day.
had real good crowds.
Like real, yeah.
You were
like
singing Rocky Top. And,
Yeah.
Peyton stopped by with the band. Yeah, it was good crowds down there. Twice we went down there.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty close to each other. It's going to be great to get back down there. And anytime Georgia's coming through, there's going to be some dogs.
When they beat Bama, that's when you went. They carried the
Great,
field goal
this
post
blocked
into the
field
river.
goal goes through. Yeah, that was game day.
Yeah.
That was incredible. All right, what's I don't want to say another, but I don't want to use it too much.
What's the next?
You can't use it enough.
What's another next one?
Okay.
I don't know if we're forcing it. What's the next one, Mr. Steve?
Boom.
There we go. 16 A&M at number 8 Notre Dame. The last non-conference road game A&M has won versus a top 10 team is 1979. I believe that was Joe Pa. Notre Dame, has not started 0-2 since '97. Jordan Love just hasn't. Not
Jeremiah.
Love.
Jeremiah
Love.
Number 4.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
All right, tomorrow night.
We'll
Take
dump
that.
it. We'll dump
Edit
it. We'll dump it. Yeah,
Edit.
Thursday night
Yeah,
football.
edit
Yeah.
that.
Got it.
10 carries, 33 yards, a couple catches, 26 yards. When you go back and watch it, why isn't their best player getting the football more? I think it had a lot to do with having a quarterback in his first road start, but also they were down 2 touchdowns. You know, they had to do some things, and Carr showed me a lot. And I believe if you ask Marcus Freeman, is he happy with how his team performed? Of course he wanted to win, but that showed some serious guts coming back in that atmosphere because this Miami team is serious. They are built up front. They got NFL edge rushers, and Notre Dame came back from down 2 scores. A&M, it seems like they got to take that next step. Again, last 2 weeks, A&M super vanilla offensively. Are they holding stuff with Marcel Reed, who looks to be better with his accuracy going into a raucous environment with Notre Dame and that great defense behind Freeman?
I thought there was a chance that maybe game day headed to this game, to be honest, because, it's a Notre Dame game and you could go to it. Granted, they lose to Miami, so that knocks that off the schedule. But Elko, another year down there, right? We just all assume it's only going to get better and better with Texas A&M. And Notre Dame, the Jeremiah Love story there, fascinating. Why?
So weird.
Doesn't make sense.
You talk about him being a young quarterback. That would
He's the
make
best
even
running
more
back.
sense
Yeah.
that you handed off the four. So is there anything else going on, maybe behind the scenes there that we don't know about?
And didn't he take a big shot on the sideline
I
too?
was going to say, is he completely healthy?
Yeah, he took that massive shot, but then he came back in and he looked healthy.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, I guess he's feeling good. Yeah, what the hell is going on?
Is it their D line? Like, is the D line that good
For Miami, yes.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
and they just couldn't.
Notre Dame's offensive line was brutal. That's the worst I've seen them play since Marcus Freeman's been the head coach. And yes,
not get
I
you hurt.
do
And they were
believe
supposed to be.
Yeah,
it had a
We're
lot
gonna
to
need
do.
you.
Let's not get you
with the
hurt.
Miami personnel.
That's interesting to think about. Marcus Freeman actually going, hey, bud, this is going to suck for you, but.
Which is crazy because
You see them? You see them?
I mean, they're
Okay.
Best running back in the country.
it's a
I
lot of the
agree.
same dudes
Give
on
him
the
the
O-line
ball.
from the national championship run, too. Like, what's his name? Charles Jigishaw or whatever his name is. He's out because he got hurt on an ATV this week or this summer. He's still out.
Charles!
But I mean, that
Yeah, but he was getting after
they're going to figure it out. The Notre Dame O-line is going to figure it out. Notre Dame defense is they're going to figure it out. My question is for you, Steve, is A&M, is the A&M defense being vanilla too because they gave up 24 to UTSA and they gave up 200 yards on the ground to UTSA.
Oh.
And then they gave up 22 or whatever
Me-
last week. I expected a jump in year 2 for Elko's defense. Week 1 was not great. Is Notre Dame going to be able to run it on them?
Hold the phone.
I would think so, Tone, to your point. I mean, we know the NFL talent they lost off of that, but Elko has lost his mind with this defense. I think the quote was, I don't give a shit what happens. We're going to learn how to play zone. And, he wants versatility. He's a great mind. But with that, you got to have guys that can play, multiple situations. And they haven't been put up against it. So I feel like he is doing that thing that DCs are going to say, screw it. We're going to sit here. We're going to play this. And you're going to do it the right way and put it on tape. So it's a big test for A&M. I think these are 2 of my favorite head coaches in the sport. Should be an awesome match. Super physical game last year in College Station, and I expect the same here when these teams two teams collide Saturday night.
Exciting quarterbacks, young quarterbacks. Obviously, Marcel Reed came into his own last year. CJ Carr, I loved his moxie. You mentioned it a little bit there, Stanford Steve. But Ty, as a Catholic school kid, this guy was almost like the Prince who promised, it seemed like, for a while for this particular squad.
Yeah, a little bit. Steve, how confident are you in CJ Carr going forward? Obviously, the legacy, his grandpa, Lloyd Carr, Michigan, all those years. And I think a lot of people thought that maybe the moment would be too big for him last week or he'd get nervous. But down the stretch, he hung right in there, looked good. How do you see CJ Carr? I mean, this is a massive game for his second start.
Yeah, I love it, Ty, because of what they did. I think the most improved group when you look at personnel groups coming into this year is what Notre Dame did at receiver. Get Malachi Fields. You're going to see more deep shots. You have to with what Carr showed you in leading that 2-touchdown comeback. Looked super comfortable, and they ran it with them down in the on the goal line. That was another thing that played into Jeremiah Love's lack of numbers. So they got an awesome tight end right there. You see in Reardon, he's a stud. But again, right here, situational football, quarterback draw. Those don't always work well. But again, as we were just talking about, the way Miami was beating them up front, hey, let them run upfield and let's run down the middle on them. And they got a big touchdown there. Notre Dame will score in this game, and that's going to be because of Carr and those receivers. Weird deal, too, playing that first Labor Day Sunday night, and then they had a bye. So they still only have that one game. Small sample size for the Irish.
Yeah, C.J. Carr with the no-look tud as his first throw.
Yeah.
Like, you asking a question there about it looking too big for him. I thought early in the game it did. I was like, this guy looks scared to death. And everybody was talking about, his grandpa and his dad, I think, was a quarterback in Michigan as well. So he comes from a family of football, And the Notre Dame people feel like they've been talking about C.J. Carr becoming a guy. I've heard it for a while now, it feels like. So C.J. Carr stepping up and playing how everybody predicted he would play and also how everybody had hoped that he'd play was cool to see. This Miami team does feel real, though. Now, Notre Dame, you said this would be the first time they go 0-2 since 1997. Tone has the last question for that.
Yeah, Steve, this is a must-win game, right? Because you can't, even if we put them out of the playoff last year after they lost to Northern Illinois or whatever, and they did make the playoff. Obviously, they make the national championship. But, at the end of the season, everyone's going to, even if they go on a run, everyone's going to say, oh, well, the two best teams that you played, if they are Miami and Texas A&M, you lost. So, is this a must-win in week 2 for these boys?
Knowing last year, Tone, and what we did in the first time with that 12-team playoff and how much we held on to these big out-of-conference games. One, you still got to give them credit if it's tight. We're going to grade losses. But this one's at home, and then you see that logo that A&M plays for in the SEC. This is a monster one that Notre Dame is going to hold in the highest regard, that they'll be rooting for A&M every week going past this. But, for a playoff, for a spot, knowing that Notre Dame doesn't have the affiliation with a conference, this must win. Must win.
On that note, the Ohio University Bobcats are a real deal.
Yeah, they are.
Talk about Notre Dame pulling for Texas A&M. That Ohio Bobcats team, Navarro.
Parker Navarro for Heisman.
Guy's a really good player, man.
Look out.
That's a tough environment, too. Athens, Ohio.
Sure.
I saw people in overalls there. I saw a lot of people out there having a good time.
Basically in the panhandle of West Virginia.
Tough. Just a tough fucking team.
It's Rust Belt.
They were great.
That's definitely Rust Belt.
They were great. We need them to go on and win every single game.
Sure.
Don't worry, they're gonna.
I think so.
I think they're winning this week at Ohio State at the Shoe.
Well, their coach.
Good receivers.
Yeah, great receivers.
Do we have that? Go ahead.
I have tried to do a little research on the coach. I think there's a chance we're dealing with a voiceover situation.
Where he didn't hear the question.
No, question in video. Someone might have messed with one of the words.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All right,
Talk about tape.
I thought so because they're a damn good football team.
Because I've seen a few different iterations of that.
Okay, well, go on, Bobcats, is what West Virginia University fans are saying. And you're saying Notre Dame fans are going to be saying, go on, Elkos.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's have a good year if they're able to get a win. Okay, what's the next one? What's another one on the list? See, that's how
LSU hosting unranked now Florida. Money has been made. Florida lost an unlosable game to South Florida. And when you go back and watch it, just timely situation stuff that really, really cost them. Bad snaps, maybe spitting on someone, deep ball overthrows that we've seen Lagway complete in big spots that could have been out of reach. There was one drive in the first half. Florida scored 3 times, and all 3 were called back. Had to settle for a field goal. Those things add up in a 1916 game. Or 18-16, whatever the hell it was. But LSU comes in with obviously that win against Clemson week 1. But Florida, they're up against it. It is hot. And now they go LSU at Miami, host Texas. All the gauntlets out there of schedules. This is it. Florida did give it to LSU last year, the week after we were at game day at LSU and Bama. So, Napier, we want to talk must-wins. Got to get a win here.
He had a lot of those last year. Felt like the must-wins started stacking up, and then they started winning, actually. DJ Lagway going into this past weekend's game was 6-0 whenever he started healthy and ended the game healthy. So they were undefeated whenever he was playing. And we all thought the culture was settled in.
Yep.
Byron Brown said, hey, excuse me, we're still a bunch of dogs here in South Florida, and they're on a run right now.
They are.
And people are not happy with how they're being ranked. by everything. Keep that chip on that shoulder, USA. This is a potential magical run for this team.
It is. We kind of went back and talked about kind of those old Big East days we talked about a couple of days ago too, in USF getting those recruits in there. Went on a nice run too. But what the hell is going on with DJ Lagway? That was my Heisman pick coming into this year. Yeah. Didn't look great against Long Island IC University either. So what's going on? Does he have a chance to actually turn this thing around and figure it out?
Here's the deal. When you watch Napier's offense and people are starting to say he should have hired an offensive coordinator, he's going to call the plays. Sounds like when you talk to people down there, that's not going to change. But what he's based off is running the football and all the play action off of that. You'll see some, does he go under center to help the play action game? The bottom line of play action game, it doesn't work if you can't run it. And Florida had a lot of hype. They got, some preseason All-Americans on that offensive line. They have not been good. They have not been able to run the football, and that sets everything up for Florida in that offense, and it sets up Lagway for easier throws. And Pat, you mentioned that win streak that they had last year. They went on the road and won some games because they ran the football, and that set things up. So that's what it comes down to me. Offensive line play. Now you go into that test Saturday night. Baton Rouge is the best atmosphere there is. Your O-line better get on the same page now because this one could get ugly, knowing how improved LSU is on defense since they didn't get Underwood and spending that money on some defense. That has proved pretty smart.
Operator, won't you put me on through? Understand my love on the Baton Rouge. Hurry up, gotta put me on the line. Understand my love just one more time. And what's the other one? Suck that tiger dick,
That's it.
bitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's a good one.
That's the type of environment you're going into, though.
Right.
They got little babies saying that, spitting pacifiers out.
Yes, they do.
So they can go, hey, oh. They're wearing a gold out down there, I believe. Brian Kelly saying this shit needs to be insane. Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, Steve, we're talking about Napier, but what about the other guy? It feels like Brian Kelly's finally kind of settled in here. You're mentioning last year with Florida and LSU. Is this kind of more of a get-back game then for LSU? I know Florida's backs are against the wall, but it feels as though LSU has finally arrived in the Brian Kelly era in this top 10, being ranked 3, winning week 1. Is this the year for LSU and Brian Kelly and Nuss leading the way wearing number 18?
They gotta be more stern running the football, Connor. To me, when I think of LSU, I think of running backs. I think of physical, ugly games, and it's pretty. And it was real pretty against Clemson when Nuss was able to make plays. They have great receivers. They spent in the portal there. To me, this is about winning up front. Florida's going to give you the best. They gave you a dose last year. So how does LSU respond? The problem with LSU fans, and the reason I love them so much, they always want more. Like when you're tailgating there and you want some gumbo, jambalaya, you're not getting 1 bowl, you're getting 2, you're getting 3. Right. So they win at Clemson. Yeah. They won a 70 burger last week when they played. They only won 23-7. But I think that speaks to Brian Kelly's mantra of this team. The defense is real, and that's another thing they always just want in Baton Rouge is a defense. You put Harold Perkins out there with Whit Weeks. I mean, you could trade off spying to quarterback, whatever you want to do. They did that on the last play of the game where they spied Kate Klubnik with Perkins, who was on the opposite of the side of the formation.
It's fast.
And he just ran across. Klubnik never saw him. So Baker loves to dial up some exotics. He's going to have stuff planned. So LSU to run the football has to be better at that. When you go back and look at Sloan as a play caller, when I looked it up, as 3 years as a play caller, I think he was at La Tech the 2 years before he got to LSU. He wasn't in the top 100 in rushing.
Jeez.
You have to be that if you're going to be a national championship caliber team. So LSU, be more stern. And again, we just talked about play action with Lagway. It only helps Nuss when he's standing back there and he can hand it off a couple times, maybe even hand it off a couple times in a row to keep pressure off. So that's what I'm looking at is that offensive line trying to establish a run game for LSU.
That Nussmeier rollout to the right crossbody throwback thing was filthy.
Man.
I mean, that was absolutely nasty. They're talking about him being the guy coming out of this draft class potentially. What do you see down there, Tom?
Well, yeah, I mean, because Nuss, they're saying like he processes it and sees it probably better than anyone in the college game right now, just as far as where to go with the football and what the defense is trying to do to him. But Steve brought up Blake Baker, who came over from Mizzou. He decided to leave Mizzou to come down to LSU, and the defense did take a big jump last year, and I think it's taken a big jump this year with those linebackers and their transfer secondary guys. But a thing to watch is Florida still has guys on that D-line. Like, they didn't give up a ton against USF. They literally did everything you possibly
And their
could.
best guy, Banks, didn't play.
Yeah, and he's
he playing this
he's
week?
questionable. I don't know if he's back yet or not. But they did literally everything you could to lose a game at home. Like, they had over 100 yards and penalties, all the red zone issues, spitting in a guy's face. Like, it was Billy Napier was terrible with time management. Like, it was a master class on how to lose. But they still have dudes, O-line, D-line. And LSU's got four or five new starters, four new starters on that O-line because everyone went to the NFL. So it is a game where, like, if Nuss isn't protected, Florida can still definitely get this done.
And Napier's going to be like, guess who's back again. And they got a schedule now that they could stack up a few big wins
A lot of them.
and almost get back into it. That's the story he's telling his team.
Yeah.
Hey, the way our schedule sets up here, it's a murderer's row. But if we're able to win these games, we're right back in
It was
the
a non-con
conversation.
game. It was a non-con game.
Yeah, and this entire thing. Okay, what's the next one? What's another one there, Steve-O?
Clemson going to Georgia Tech, noon kickoff. Clemson, 79 yards rushing per game, 239th that ranks in the NCAA. You want to talk about not being good enough. That's not good enough. And Dabo, the way he's handled things post-game, weird deal. I think there was a weather delay in that game versus Troy, but you watch the first half of that game. Troy's a better football team, and Clemson gets it going.
They're up 16-3.
Looks like Klubnik. Yeah, Klubnik really needs Antonio Williams, his best receiver. He looks out of sorts after he got hurt. I believe it was the first possession against LSU. That really seemed to halter the game plan. But the lack of ability to run the football has been a huge deal here. And on the other side, you got Georgia Tech, who's a giant killer. Key in the way he goes about business. Haynes King looked like hobbled on that last touchdown run at Colorado. Didn't play last week. The authority says he's full go, practice full go Tuesday. Watch out, Clemson.
He's your full
because
go.
Georgia Tech has the recipe to upset you the way they want to use the quarterback in the run game. Be careful here, Clemson, on the road for a noon kick.
What do you write? 130, 137 or something like that?
156, I believe, for Haynes King.
Yeah.
Against Colorado, yeah.
Yeah, he went bananas.
Over 300
Stop.
total.
Dog.
Yeah,
I think-
he went crazy. And that's what he did last year, too, right? And
Yes.
This is kind of his, this is
Yeah.
Haynes King football.
That was kind of going to be my question because, yes, Haynes King, he went for over 300 total in that game, rushed for 3 touchdowns, I think 150 rushing yards, and they rushed for 300 as a team. But, like, Clemson, maybe not last year. They were terrible on rush defense last year. But they have the dudes up front. They have the linebackers, and then they have the new DC in Tom.
Ty, ask the question, Ty.
Yeah, Steve, are we ready to make the proclamation yet
yes.
that there is way too much
Because look what
hype?
you're doing right there.
Yeah.
Like, that is what you just are doing
but-
right there.
and that's all we
Georgia Tech
heard.
can't pass.
But that's all we heard going into the season is, hey, Clemson's got maybe 4 guys that are going to
Bingo,
get drafted
yeah.
in the top 10 in the NFL draft on defense, et cetera, et cetera.
Cade, 40
Cade
touchdowns.
Klubnik was unbelievable.
Heisman.
I'm out on Cade.
Are we ready to say, like, hey, there was way too much hype and, like, Clemson is still, like, they're not going to go win a national championship this year? Or do you think that they can right the ship? And because I mean, if you're just watching everything after last week, I get it,
Yep.
trap game, et cetera, but it's like these guys damn near didn't beat Troy. They're not fucking winning a national championship.
Crazy, because Clemson has everybody's respect, it seems like. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, everybody respects
Yeah.
Clemson. Everybody respects Dabo. And it's like the last few years, last year they go for a run after losing to Georgia. And obviously their kicker hits a huge one in the ACC championship. And it's like, it was awesome. Then this year, it's like, we're really believing in them now because of what we saw at the end of the season. And it's like, every year we feel like that.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, like, is this the year, I guess, that they turn it around? I guess is what we want to know.
We're gonna find out this week. Ty, I understand everything you're saying. It is totally valid. I had him preseason number 1 because of that.
Exactly. That's what we're talking. It's
Right.
like, you're not the only one either, Steve.
The other guy's fault.
Yo, I
Drinking it
had
off
it,
the
but when you break it down, it's kind of like the Alabama deal with Florida State week 1. You know, when you watch it, it's like, shit, Florida State's pretty damn good, but Alabama still shouldn't lose that game, right? Clemson, you know, has the ball to win or tie or win the game against LSU, who some people have ranked number 1 in the country right now because of what they thought. So this is the tipping point here, because the matchup favors Clemson. And then when you look at this point spread, same thing with Georgia, Tennessee. This thing was over a touchdown, and now both of them are down to 3.5. So that tells you plenty of people are off of Clemson's bandwagon. I'm not there yet. I like the matchup. I believe they have the goods up front to stop this quarterback run game. And again, Haynes King's a tough-ass player. But how is he 100%? Is he 80? Is he 75? And his 75 is better than the backup? That's the question here. So, and where does Antonio Williams? Because that guy is what really made them go. Because Maffa got hurt last year for Clemson, who was their running back. He's in the league somewhere, and they really rely on the pass game, and it was because of Klubnik and Antonio Williams. So that they need that in this game. But we're going to find out. To answer your question, Todd, this week I think they have a road trip to Louisville. I think SMU comes there. So the schedule isn't as easy as it was last. They got to go to Chapel Hill. Pat, we were there.
Oh, that's good. 15 minutes.
They got to survive.
They look good Saturday.
They've scored on both first drives.
Petey Pablo. Just
you can't have your team out there for when Petey Pablo's out there. You got to keep the team.
Take
in the
UNC first quarter.
Petey Pablo, a man with numerous bangers.
Found that out yesterday.
Some people forget. Freak or leak.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bangers.
Yeah.
Bangers.
North
Raise
Carolina.
up. Banger. The other one.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Yeah, there are a couple.
A couple other ones.
Yeah.
He was in. He had a song in the movie Step Up.
Of course.
Yep.
Banger.
Oh, yeah. I remember
With Channing
that,
Tatum?
yeah.
Yep.
Of course. Love that movie.
That boy Tatum can really move.
Yeah, he's got.
All right, what's the last one here, Stanford Steve, heading into the weekend?
Old rival here, South Florida, you and D-Bud.
Yep.
South Florida going to Miami.
18.
Same spread as last week's game when they went to Florida, 17.5. First year since Jameis's last year when Florida State and Miami are in the top 10 together. 12 years ago. Man, that time flies. Beck has been sensational. The biggest question for me with Miami coming into the season was what was Carson Beck going to be with them losing their top 6 pass catchers from last year. And, boy, they got some freshmen. They got some transfers. But what I loved from Beck is how quick he got rid of the football against that Notre Dame pass rush. You know, people are going back and looking at the tape and Notre Dame not getting pressure with 4. I thought a lot had to do with Beck being smart and getting rid of the football. And he's looked tremendous, man. And they look as stable as they have. Going back to what they are on the offensive and defensive line, that this is a different matchup, and they cause a lot more problems than Florida does. So South Florida's up against it, but with Golish and company, that's the way they want it, man. They know where they stand in the brand of those Florida schools, and they're going for that state championship for sure. This is a pretty big stretch for them. So we'll see what Byron Brown has for them.
The USF needs to be higher ranked. Okay? I don't like the way it's all going down. This Bulls team's ready to roll. They got an opportunity here against this Miami team.
Big opportunity. Talk about opportunity. Cornerbacks. I want to know how those. Shout out my guy DeMarcus Van Dyke, former Hurricane over there coaching the cornerbacks for USF. How do they match up against these wide receivers that Carson Beck would be slanging it to?
Yeah, touched on it before, D-Bud. Lagway missed some overthrow. There was 3 deep balls that were touchdowns. And I'll tell you what I really like is how they come up and tackle.
They're aggressive.
You know, when you see that. And you're going to need to do that. The guys that Miami rolls in, and I mentioned, you know, everyone wants to talk about, I'll talk about the 2 defensive pro prospects they have at edge rusher. They got some pros on the offensive line. So that's the matchup. Can you keep it within, you know, a 1-score game that South Florida did last week against an inconsistent Florida offense? I don't know. I feel like Miami could run it down them a little better than Florida did. So that's the matchup. So that flips it on Byron Brown in that offense. can they score against this defense, knowing the pressure that Miami can put on you?
Is everybody on USF plus 17.5 after the last couple weeks of what USF
that's a
has
good
looked
question.
like?
I mean, after hearing about Miami against Notre Dame, I'm starting to think the other way, honestly, that Miami's D-line is the best D-line in college football, and that it's impossible to do anything.
Yeah, and on offense, we saw them get Tony was wide open all the time.
And
Carson Beck was smooth.
58
playing his best ball.
58% on Miami.
Yeah, I guess but I've been told, Edrin James told me.
Yes, exactly.
USF Miami is a lot of Florida boys.
Yeah.
A lot of similar
Real.
Florida boys,
Yep.
too, right? I guess Florida, Edrin James told me this. Florida boys, but they're Florida Gator is kind of how Edge viewed it.
Mm-hmm.
He said USF, Miami, Florida State, and I think he even lumped SMU in there as the team.
A lot of recruits.
That are a lot of Florida boys.
Yeah.
So whenever they play against each other, it's like kind of
Very familiar. Yeah, the rankings, the 5-star, 4-star, none of that matters. Like, I know who you are, you know who I am, we know your families. I feel like I'm better than you. I know I got this USF jersey on, and that's a big spread for this type of game, in my opinion.
that's what that's
Yeah.
basically what I'm
Yeah,
kind of alluding to here.
The athletes. I mean, it's gonna be athletes, and
Plenty of boys from Broward County.
Yeah, a lot of Broward,
Plenty
a lot of
boys.
Dade, Palm Beach. So
Plenty of boys.
yeah, it's gonna be exciting, man. Ken Carson hit those deep balls, and the guys will. Malachi Tony, Baby Jesus, C.J. Dane. These guys can make some spectacular
boys.
catches. So when USF has an opportunity, I think they're just gonna have to create some turnovers, create some explosive plays to really get a chance.
And their offense is basically just Byron Brown's back. Like, he just carries them in the run game. Like, they don't have a run game outside of him, and through the air he's been great. It's literally like him or nothing. So can Miami and that D-line get to him? There's a chance, but
It's been a fun
he's
story.
been unreal.
What?
It's been a fun story, hasn't it, Tony? Right, other guy. Like it's been fun, but when we're talking about the U, and I don't know if there's been anybody who's bashed Carson Beck the way I have, but it's real hard to think that, okay, after hearing everything about this D-line for Miami, after seeing it from Carson Beck, him look like, one of the better quarterbacks, I almost wonder if Georgia thinks that, hey, maybe we shouldn't have let him go. All of a sudden, Beck's moving.
Cristobal is a jiu-jitsu roller.
Yes.
In the morning, their head coach rolling jiu-jitsu.
Believe in him big time, especially after talking to him. Like, if this game means a lot to South Florida, who probably knows that better than everybody?
Mario Cristobal. Yeah.
What about the rest of the staff, though? Because we saw USF staff.
Well, yeah, you
That's a
just
good
mentioned
point.
Van Dyke's on.
He
USF,
we saw that
Tell you
USF
what,
staff.
I will say this: if they keep it, let's just say they cover against Miami and then they win the American, like if they beat Tulane or whatever in the American, and that's and they
Or
only
whatever. Watch the green wave, bro.
Yeah, that's good.
Well,
That's long.
Yeah,
Tulane, Memphis,
disrespect.
whoever comes out of the American, whatever. But if USF wins it and their only loss is Miami, they're going to be in the playoff for sure.
Well, that's awesome. There's a lot to look forward to, and we can't wait to catch up with you next Wednesday. Stanford Steve, we appreciate the hell out of you and your Moxie Mateer headband there. That looks cool.
Keep that going.
Yeah.
That looks
Sick.
good.
All right, boys. You guys have a good one.
Thank you.